Hello everyone, my name is Craig Rivers. I'm from Rivers End Outdoors, and I wanted to kind of fill you in on a little thing that I used to do when I was younger. I made a rocket, I don't want to say rocket stove, but I call it rock it stove because I rock it up. And I actually call it the Rivers Rocket because I don't know anybody else that's ever done this. Basically what you do is you get yourself a little tiny fire with twigs going, and then you just start rocking around it. And I used to do these when I was a kid because you'll hear the traffic here along the road, and we always wanted to have a little fire, but we didn't want people to see us in on our ranch because then you'd get all this traffic stopping and people wanting to know what's going on. Even though it's my own ranch and it's private property, you still have busybodies and nosy people. So basically, when we did this when we were younger, we'd pile up these rocks and it'd let a little bit of light out and we could stuff twigs in there, and it kind of burned looked like a jack-o'-lantern. Now the cool thing about it is we found out you could cook on them. And so we do that, and so basically just take rocks and start stacking them around there. It don't matter if they're big or small, just make a little tiny, start with a little tiny fire ring, start working your way up, and then feed it as you go. So in my last video, if you remember, I talked about tips and things, and one of the things I forgot to mention was that I mentioned the pencil sharpener. What I forgot to mention about the pencil sharpener is that you can make tinder with it. I have one here as a matter of fact. You just put the stick in there and you start trimming tinder off. So that's one of the things I forgot about the pencil sharpener. So I just wanted to fill you in on that. So we'll just keep stacking rocks around here. Might want to get a big one to help stabilize it. And if you're strategic, you can place them where they're pretty stable. And as you go up, you go in and make a conical shape. I'm getting smoked out here. Hope you all can see me. And, you know, if you ain't got nothing to do, it's kind of fun to just sit here and stack rocks until you get it pretty stable. So where I'm at is I'm down in my creek on my ranch, and you'll hear traffic behind us, and there's not much I can do about that, unfortunately, because I got a pretty long road out in front of my place here, and so I spent most of my life trying to hide from people and cars and noise and stuff. It hasn't been easy. Hopefully when I get this thing built up a little bit, the smoke will change directions. I was a little bit worried about the filming, so I was trying to get the light behind the camera so I wouldn't get sun dogs on or sunspots on the lens. Yeah, it's kind of damp. Everything's smoldering a bit. Yeah, it's coming along. Yeah, this is the river's rocking. Rock it up. Ouch. Warm. It's hard to keep them stable sometimes. Actually, I haven't done this in quite a while. Hope it doesn't end up being a big mess. Probably end up with a rock pile and ash by the time I'm done. But we'll see. Actually, the thing is, you gotta be patient. And strategically, put your rocks around it. Yeah, I picked the wrong direction for the smoke. That's for sure. So what we want to do now, kind of try to start building it in. Ah, see, that's afraid of. It's okay. Just gotta get them rocks out of there before they get too hot. Whew. That one's sweating. Woo! Here. Okay. Round rock. Actually surprised in the bottom of my creek, and when I was younger this creek used to run year round. Well, today it's December 30th, I think, and yeah, no water in the creek at all. Hasn't been. Last few years it gets drier and drier and drier. My well's becoming an issue. Water is definitely an issue in this state. I don't know what they plan on doing about it, or anybody does. I live off a well, so whatever they do, none of it affects me. I either have water or I don't. Most cases I don't. When I run low on water, I have to get a big truck in to fill up my storage tank, which normally I can keep my storage tank up with my well and have a little bit of a backup, but this year it's not working. Okay, I think I gotta find some more rocks. I'll bet it's been probably 30 years since I did this. Used to do it a lot more when I was younger. But you know what? Get you out in the woods and poking around. Nothing like a little campfire. Now, people, actually, when I was a kid doing this, people would show up, we'd be chit-chatting. They said, well, how in the hell do you keep them rocks from blowing up? I have never had a rock blow up. Blow up is an explosion, where the thing explodes and somebody gets mortally wounded. I've had them crack, and I've had them pop, and even pop off flakes, but I've never had them blow up. I mean, it would have to be like a steam vessel and be completely hollow and have a ton of water inside to blow up. So I don't know where anybody ever got that idea, that rocks blow up. I think typical paranoid people is what it is. way in. Hopefully I won't dump it over. You do it right, get all the rocks interlocking. It'll work pretty damn good. What the heck happened to my dog? Zip! Was here. Trader. Just went back to the house. This one's actually a little bit bigger than the ones I normally made. Usually made them out of pebbles. But that's okay. Okay, getting there. Not bad. you guys could see the flames on this. An idea how well it's working. I don't like that rock. How about that one? Nope. How about that one? How about this one? Boop! Oh well, one went in. Okay. Put one more right here. Okay. So you got the idea. This is pretty damn cool. You can actually make the hole a little bit smaller, work it up, and if you make it strong enough, you know, if you monkey with it, you can put a frying pan on top of it, or a coffee pot, or even rest a stick across there if you can't get the hole down small. And the other thing is if you're going to be out long term, what you can do is if you leave these holes around the sides for it to breathe, you can mud it. And that makes a darn good stove. I mean, it'll do you good. Now, what the moral of the story is here is that technically, if I was out here camping, I didn't bring anything with me. No can or nothing. And I've got a working stove. And, you know, it's kind of like a Dakota fire stove, but functions more like a rocket stove, the Rivers rocket. And I think this is a good survival item to remember, or bushcraft, whatever. So here I am in the smoke again, suffering. So what I'm gonna do in my videos, in every one of my videos, I'm gonna do a little segment on tips and tricks. And the tips and tricks today for this video, or the tip and trick, I'll do at least one in each video, is I want to talk about these things. Now, when I was a kid, we called them church keys. I have no idea why they called them church keys. But when I got a soda in a can when I was a kid, it didn't have a pull tab. The only way to open it was with a screwdriver or one of these church keys. Now, back to my dual functions of tools for my tips and tricks, dual or triple. This item, see if I can get the smoke out of here. Woo! Eyes are burning. The thing about this thing is they're usually pretty hard steel. Not only can you open a can with it, if you go crawdad fishing or fishing where you use bait, you can get cat food, and you just pop a couple holes in the lid with this and wire it inside your crawdad cage, and the crawdads will go nuts trying to get at it and get in, and you'll trap tons of them. So the other thing is they're usually pretty hard springy steel, so you can use that little edge to pry something if you need to pry it. And of course, open a bottle. The other thing is they work good on ferro rods. You know, people carry ferro rod strikers. Well, these things are great, and they're magnetic. And so the really cool thing with these is, I don't know if you guys see coffee cans anymore. I don't see them anymore. If you do, please, somebody let me know, because I almost want to collect a bunch of them. If you have a can like this, you just take your opener, if you can see that, and go around the edge and make a few cuts like that around the top, go around the bottom and make a few I don't see coffee cans like these very often. Now, you got a stove. Simple. If you can find a can in a garbage hole, as long as you got one of these things, you can make a stove. And what you have to do when you make stoves like this, and even your little gas stoves, is you got to take and stack rocks around them so you don't dump all your food on the ground and lose everything. So you just stack up rocks around it, make a pile of rocks, or you can take and put dirt and gravel up around it, as long as you can get at the air holes in the bottom, and make it nice and stable. That way your frying pan isn't going to take the whole thing over. So one thing I forgot to mention is that you can also put a little grate over this thing and cook a steak on it, which is pretty cool. Personally, I raise cattle. I prefer beef. I have a lot of animals around here on the ranch. I have tons and tons of little rabbits. Just hundreds of them all over. But I'm not going to do a catch and cook video with my rabbits because I'm saving those rabbits. I'm saving those rabbits in case there's a whatever, you know what I mean. It hits the fan. Those rabbits are alive, they're healthy, and I got a food source. So I just want to leave them alone. I don't want to just kill everything and burn up all my food. I have lots of deer. Of course, I raise cattle. I'll never have to worry if something goes wrong in society and everything breaks down and I need to survive, because I grew up doing this and it's no big deal for me. In fact, it's the middle of December, or it's the end of December, and I sleep on the front porch. I don't like sleeping in the house. I never liked sleeping in the house. I always sleep outside my whole life. And I go to work I go in, do my thing in the morning, and I go to work at you know, the local industrial military complex, because I've been working there for a long time. I want to bounce back. I talked a little bit in the end of my last video about myself and the ranch and everything. But what I didn't mention is that at my age, I just turned 54. A few years back, I actually had both of my hips replaced because I broke them down working too hard, kind of messed them up. So you're not going to see me doing a lot of hiking videos. You'll see me doing outdoor videos, but when I get from point A to point B, I ride a quad or something to get me there. I'm okay on flat ground, but I have a real hard time going up and downhill. What I didn't know about hip replacements is that you can actually lose 15, 20, even 30% of your muscle mass. That I didn't know, but what it is you need bone to keep your muscles alive, and in the spots where you don't have any bone anymore, where it's been cut out, that's where you lose your muscle strength. So that's kind of why you see me sitting on the ground, or I move, and I move really good, and I'm strong, but I got to be careful, because after about 3 days, I'm shot for a while. So that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Don't forget the can setup. That's probably one of your best bets. Going back to that, on most ranches in the 60s, we didn't have garbage dumps everywhere. The cities used garbage dumps, but we didn't have garbage dumps for rural people. Most people dump their garbage in a ditch or in a big hole. So if you go around on a lot of these old ranches around here, you can find a garbage hole and you can dig up tons of bottles, tin cans, bicycles, chairs, toiletries, jars, everything. And it's a darn good resource if you're trying to survive. They're just stuff you can use. You can find good coffee cups. Even if you found one with a broken handle, you still got a coffee cup that you wouldn't have normally. So anyway, that being said, I want to thank you all for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. My next one's probably I hope it'll be a little bit exciting, because I'm going to do something nobody else knows or nobody else has ever done. And yeah, please look forward to that. I think those of you who do bushcraft and wilderness camping and whatnot, you've all been trying to figure this thing out for years, and it just came to me. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. So anyway, that being said, thank you all, and I will see you next time.